Hi everybody, I'm Steve Hopf from Ultra Dent Tools, and I'm here today to show you guys the Ultra Mini Lifter. This is the A34UM. This is a vertical squeeze mini lifter, okay? And a vertical squeeze versus horizontal squeeze is much more ergonomical, so you have more power and control with that. This handle rotates 360 degrees around the cross and the bridge frame here. And so that's very versatile. We've got 2-inch and 4-inch extensions for the feet, and that will allow you to adjust the feet into different positions around the pull head just to change the spacing for smaller or bigger dents. Okay, so the other thing is that our feet rotate, and because they're on swivel balls, but they're offset too, so that changes the space between the pull head. And so that's going to give you a lot more versatility. So you can really move it in, and you can see the space there all of a sudden that you've created just a smaller space. So very versatile in that respect. We've got a locking mechanism that has these sliding plates, and you can tighten these under tension there. And so let's just say you want to do a constant tension pull on a dent, maybe even a bigger dent that's got a crown, and you want to knock it down. You can set this thing, make your pull, set the tension, knock your crown down, and then release it. And you can do it right or left. It's ambidextrous. That's why there's one on each side. The other thing is we've got a very effective cam in here. So on the handle, there's a cam that's got a progressive ramp in it. And so that cam is very smooth. So you'll notice it's got a very, very smooth grip. But what it's doing with the way this cam is designed is actually giving you more stroke and more travel as you pull up. We're getting almost 1/8 of an inch more travel than any other mini lifter out there. The advantage of that is on our roof rail, radius panel contour. You know, a lot of times you need to have more travel because the dent is actually closer to the pull head. So the mini lifter needs to have more travel to be able to make a pull on that. So we're going to show you a demonstration of how that works and how the feet work, and we'll show you how it goes. I've got a dent in this roof rail panel. Okay, so we'll let that sit for a second. Okay, so we were able to make a pull with that. That's good. And I got most of that dent pulled right out. Okay, so we've got a dent here on this aluminum hood, and this dent's almost 3 inches wide. It's a pretty good size shot. So we're gonna demonstrate a round pull tab in this big dent, and we're gonna see how well it's gonna work. So you want the glue pretty hot. The other thing we could do, like on that one, if you wanted it to stretch a little bit farther, we can rotate these back out, give ourselves a little bit more sheet metal flex ability there by widening the span. There we go. See, that's what you're gonna have to do on aluminum. And so that got it to move and it got it to stay up, okay? And before I knock that high down, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that other low up. And that's gonna be a better way to do this dent because it will make it more of a subtle high, and it will get all the low up pulled out. That's curing. There we go, that's a good pull. Yeah, so that did it. Now I got most of that, and there's just a teeny little low right next to that. So now I can go with even just the next size smaller tab. Okay, so let's use the next size smaller tab. We'll go right next to that, and then we can start. Now that we've got everything up in kind of like a mound, then we can start knocking everything down. All right, so that's that. So now we've got everything pulled up, and now we can make a couple of knockdowns on this thing, and we'll see where we're at. So as you can see, as with pulling and knocking down is just as equally as hard with aluminum. You really have to lay into it because it's so strong. Aluminum doesn't have the memory steel has. It's gonna take a lot more to move it. Okay, so obviously glue pulling is a process of elimination. You're not going to get it out in 1 or 2 or even 3 pulls on especially almost a 3-inch dent. I'm going to tap that down a little bit more. If you're trying to fix dents with glue tabs only, the success is going to be dependent sheerly on how you knock down, right? So if you knock down on the highs properly from highest to low and you don't get into the low areas, it's going to work out so much better for you. Otherwise you're going to have to make multiple pulls and you'll be chasing it. So all right, so as we get closer to getting this thing finished all the way, I'm going to move my feet inwards and give myself a little bit more support. Okay, because we just have some micro lows that we're trying to get out now. Okay, that's a pretty good pull. All right, so that last pull is good. I'm gonna knock that down, and then we got one little micro low over here that I know I'm gonna have to come back and get, maybe with a smaller tab. I'll show you guys the smallest thin neck tab we have. It's a really micro, smaller than a 1/4 inch. Super micro thin neck. All right, nice pull. So aluminum big dent, mini lifter, no dent tools, ultra pull tabs, thin neck tabs, standard round tabs. Really, probably all in all, we spent 45 minutes on it, but you could have done it probably in a half an hour. So that's a pretty good repair with glue pulling only. So we've got a pretty good bigger than fist sized dent right here between these two body lines on this steel hood. And it's got some crowned areas and everything. So this is a very difficult spot. It's in the triple wall area. There's some glue in here. So we're gonna see what we can do with the mini lifter. Try to use some constant tension techniques with it. And let's see what we can do with it. So I'm gonna start off, I'm gonna grab just one of my medium-sized oval pull tabs, and I'm gonna just get some of this lifted up, and then we'll see what the crowns look like once we get it under tension. This is gonna be a good time for us to take a look at how this bridge mechanism works. We've got, like I said, we've got 2 different size extensions. We got the 2-inch and the 4-inch, so we may even use these 4s here in this case. So we'll start off with the 2s, and I've got these pretty much all the way out on the adjustment. Okay, I got the feet rotated out, so it's got the most amount of space on it. So let's put a little bit of pressure on this thing and just see what it wants to do. So in this case, I can go ahead and tighten up my locking mechanism. And then I can start to work some of these crowns down a little bit on the outside. So by doing this, we're actually relieving some of the pressure, some of the trap pressure that's been sent out into the outside of the low. That's the great beauty of this locking mechanism on this mini lifter. So we got some of that low started up. There's a pretty good little crease right here, so we can do that crease, or we can do this low. Either one, they're both about the same. So let's try putting a round tab in this area and see what that does. Okay, so we got a lot of that low up right there. So now we can come in and put a crease tab on this. See if we can't get that thing to move a little bit. All right, so this is the medium size thin crease tab. I'm going to give it, loosen up the locks, and then go ahead and give it a pull there. So that's good and clean. So a lot of that crease came out. So if you guys look at this closely, there is a crown right here. So we're going to want to knock this crown down. So when we pull this, we'll knock this crown down under tension. This one, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little quick pull. All right, so I can just put a little pressure on this thing right here, and then we can work on getting this crown. If you guys are ever having any difficulty with the tabs sticking, when they're brand new, they're so smooth that you could take some 180 grit sandpaper and literally just sand them just a little bit. They'll pull and grab a lot harder. So it's something real simple. You can even rub them on the asphalt or even concrete floor to rough them up. That'll actually make a big difference. So on how well they hold. All right, we'll get this thing under a little tension. I'll rotate that out of the way. I'm gonna knock down this high right here. Okay, release the locks, and then now I'm gonna go ahead and make a pull on this one because I had a little bit of a low there and that little bit of a crease there still, so. All right, make that pull. All right, it's taking some shape. That's obviously got to get knocked down. There's a little bit of low in here. So there again, what we could do is we could make a pull here and hold this up and then knock that down. That one there was a bit of a low, so I'm gonna just give it a little bit of pull there. I don't want to pull too much. That's a big tab, so I'm not gonna try to rip that off of there, but let's see what we got with that. So I have a soft low right here and it's a little high there still, so I'm gonna make a pull here and then I'll knock that down while it's under tension. All right, now I got that under tension, I'm gonna knock this crown area down. So anyway, here's a finished repair on a pretty good sized pressure dent, which we could have finished all the way, but I would consider this to at least a push to paint status for now. And we did this all the way with a mini lifter only in a pretty complicated area in the nose of the hood and the triple wall where there's glue in the bracing, a difficult area to repair. So pretty good for a mini lifter. So now that you've seen the Ultra Mini Lifter in use, we were able to fix 3 different dents. One was on a sharp radius panel here. It demonstrated the use of the extra stroke, and we were able to actually make a pull all the way and fix the dent on that sharp type radius. We fixed a dent in a aluminum panel that was almost 3 inches wide, and it was a pretty deep dent. And so with the feet being able to adjust out a little bit wider, we were able to get a little bit more of an aggressive pull on that and pull that dent to 100% status with multiple pulls. And then we had a big pressure dent on this gray panel, steel hood, that had some different shapes in it, and it had some crowns on the outside of it. And we were able to, with the locking mechanism, use constant tension and knock the crowns down and actually fix that dent to a push to paint status relatively quick. So super cool mini lifter. The new Ultra tabs in conjunction with that are amazing. Come look these up, ultradenttools.com.